Hey team, how are you doing? Good to see you all. Just getting set up here with all my stuff. I want to make sure that we are live in Facebook as well. So let me just make sure that that is ready while you're all jumping on, saying hello, hello, hello. And I'm just going to jump into the Facebook group and just make sure that let me see. Just want to jump in the Facebook group and make sure that I am live. And make sure you can see me all. Hope you're doing really well on this Monday. Okay, I can see some of you in the groups are like, is she live yet? Is she live yet? Hopefully I am live. Let me just make sure. I just want to make sure that it is live. No, it hasn't gone live. Okay, let me just check what has gone wrong. I am not sure. 1 wee second, guys. Just checking that. Let me just click go live now. We're still getting used to setting this all up. Natalie is, God love her. Okay, that should be it now. Is trying to set it up for me. And of course, I just come in and don't check anything and just make sure that, just hope that it's all working as it should be. So let me just check now and make sure that it is live. Yes, there we are. Okay, we're live now. That's perfect. I'm so sorry for all of the hassle. I'm just going to post this link in the group for everybody in the chat. Okay, got it there. Now everybody is live. We're all here together. We finally made it. I actually have my hair down today. Isn't this like shocking? You're all just used to seeing me with my hair in a bun. But I got up this morning and I was doing my cardio and then I got in the shower and I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to wash my hair and give them all like a wee surprise. Let me just turn on this video just to make sure that I can see the comments as well, because for some reason Facebook is not showing me the comments, which is really annoying. Oh, there you are. So good to see you all. Who's here? We've got Dipti Patel. We have J.R. Renee Anderson. Lisa Schaaf is here. We have Billy Jane Gillian Leckie. We have Missy Johnson, Kimberly Townsend. We have Ingrid Marion is here, Trudy Appis, Donna Wilson saying your hair is gorgeous. Thank you so much. I wore extensions for years actually, and then I got the extensions taken out, and underneath the extensions was all this hair. Who knew? I always had really good hair actually, but I don't blow dry it very often because I only get like 1 day out of it. So I'm going to hot yoga tonight, and when I go to yoga, then I just have to put it in a bun on the top of my head, and then it looks horrendous when I take it down. So it's not even worth the hassle of drying it, unfortunately, to get 1 day out of it. Who else is here as well? Let me say a few more hellos. I'm actually just getting over the cold, so my voice probably sounds a bit bad. But you know what? I thought I was going to be dying with the cold because my husband got the cold, and his lasted like a week. And you know, of course, he was on the couch for 2 full days because he had such a bad man flu, and you know, he just so no energy and a sore throat, and it was terrible. I got the cold last Friday. Had one of the busiest weekends I've ever had. Trained, did cardio. Went to the yard, sorted out my horses, played tennis with my kids, cooked dinner for 8 people, went to bed, woke up this morning, felt fine. So my motto whenever I'm ill is just keep going. It's probably not the correct thing to do. Let me go down a little bit because then I'm closer to my microphone. It's probably not the correct thing to do. You should probably rest whenever you're ill. But I just think keep going until you can't go anymore. And if you really, really, really need to rest, then, you know, you will, or your body will force you to. But otherwise, I just think if you just keep going, what's the worst that can happen? You just get a lot of shit done, and then your body goes, okay, no time to be sick, and it just makes you better. That's what I think anyway. Okay, so we have, I have a great masterclass for you today. I was actually today going to talk about training. I was going to move into the realms of training. But what I like to do whenever I create these masterclasses is I like to go through the groups, and I like to go through the chat messenger, and I like to see what you guys are struggling with and what your questions are and that kind of stuff. And then that helps me to shape the content. So rather than going into very technical stuff like training, which is necessary, what I have discovered is many of you still need some mindset training. So today I'm going to do a little more on mindset, if you don't mind. It's going to be fun. You're going to love it. Hopefully, you're going to there's going to be some tough love coming at you today. So this masterclass actually comes with a warning. You're like, a warning? Yes, it comes with a warning. And the warning is that I'm going to give you some tough love. This is what is collectively known in the company as a Mama Kim smackdown. I don't know where that term was created, but a Mama Kim smackdown is where I very lovingly smack the shit out of you because you're either complaining too much out of reality and then bitching and whinging about the effects of being out of reality because they don't match your expectation, or you just need some tough love to pull you down from the ledge and put you right back where you need to be. So today there's going to be a bit of tough love coming your way, and of course it's all done with a big massive dose of I get you. I've been where you are. I know how you're feeling. And the reason why I can give you some tough love, the reason why I'm qualified to give you some tough love is because I have been exactly where you are now. Okay. So, how are we going to start? Yesterday, I had my mum and my mum's husband, my stepdad, and one of his best friends, who's also has become a very close family friend, for dinner. And Paddy is Rob, my stepdad's friend. He's absolutely lovely. We adore him. And the rugby was on yesterday. So my husband messaged Paddy and he said, why don't you come for dinner? And, Kim's cooking. It's going to be fab because I always do a big vegan roast every Sunday. So they came for dinner. And just as they were leaving, Paddy, came to give me a hug and a kiss. And so he gave me a kiss and put his arms around me and gave me a squeeze. And he said, oh, thank you so much, for dinner. It was absolutely lovely. And I was wearing a t-shirt quite like the one that I'm wearing now, except it was much tighter. And so Paddy put his arms around me and squeezed me. And then he went like this. And he, he kind of put his hands on my shoulders like this and kind of pulled back to look at me. And he went like this and he went, oh, and he had his hands here, on my delts on the top. And he kind of squeezed them and he went, oh, and he squeezed my biceps and he went, holy shit, Kim. He said, you are in some shape. And he goes, let me see your bicep. And I went like that and, and kind of just flexed my bicep and he poked it and he went, oh my God. And he said, what, have you been doing something different? And I said, no. And he said, oh, you must have been doing something different. He said, you're in incredible shape. I said, Paddy, I'm always in this shape. And he said, no, you've done something different recently. And he was like really shocked, just whenever he hugged me by kind of how hard I was, by how much muscle that I had. And we kind of stood by the door for a second and I said to him, and he said, well, what have you been doing? And I said, honestly, Paddy, I said, I've been training for 8 years. And he went, really? And I said, yeah. I said, I've been training for 8 years. I said, the reason why I am this way isn't because of something I did differently recently. I said, yeah, I did start training really hard again 18 months ago, but I've been training now consistently for 8 years, showing up to the gym 3, 4, 5 days a week for 8 years, eating consistently really good food for 8 years, doing cardio consistently for 8 years. I said, I've just been a long time building this body. And, that's why I'm in such good shape. And he was like, wow, that's amazing. Like, that's really amazing. I thought maybe you'd been doing something differently. And I said, no, nothing different. I just doubled down on my gym efforts about 18 months ago because I'd lost a lot of muscle because I wasn't training consistently. And I just decided I was going to build it all back. And I said, and actually now I'm in better shape than ever. And he said, well done you, congratulations. That's amazing. I'm so happy the business is going so well and blah, blah, blah. And so he left. And so then today, whenever I was looking through the different comments and stuff in the Facebook groups, and I was looking through the questions and I was thinking, I was preparing the content for today. I thought, you know what? I need to teach these girls something different, because what happens is after you have started a program, after you've gotten through the first couple of weeks where everything is new and everything's exciting and you're, doubling down on your efforts and you're eating this new way and you're trying beans and lentils and replacing pasta and bread with all these different things. And you're, trying your workouts at the gym, or maybe you're training from home, but you're in this new lifestyle, right? And it's exciting. But invariably, what tends to happen is that after a couple of weeks, whenever it starts to become kind of normal, people start to get restless. And members start to get restless, and members start to expect to see something different than what the program is about. And so I realized today that even though I've talked to you about this being a lifestyle program, and I've said this is, this is not a quick fix, this is not a shred, this is a how you build Kim Constable's body program. And you guys are all, yeah, I'm totally on board for that. Like, it's absolutely amazing. I'm here for it. But then what I'm seeing after a couple of weeks is some members, probably no one here or no one watching this, but the other members who didn't show up today, they're like starting to obsess over every tiny little detail of the program. And then we're starting to see some disappointment come through. Like, I've been following the program for 2 weeks now. I thought I would have lost some weight. Like, I thought, I would have expected something different. I don't know what I expected, but it's definitely different than what I'm getting. And so we're starting to see, this discontent coming through. And I realized that I hadn't actually ever, I guess, broken down step by step what you guys should expect from this kind of program. And that's what I'm going to do today. So let me go back to the very beginning of my journey. A lot of you have heard me talk about Emily Skye. Whenever I first started bodybuilding, I found pictures of Emily Skye online, and I just thought she was the most gorgeous creature I'd ever seen in my entire life. And of course, whenever I found her, and then I saw links and things to her program, and it said, here, get my glute building program, because she had the most amazing glutes, of course. And so she would have posted, here's my glute building program. And I remember seeing her program, and you could buy, I think it was one part of it for $49, or you could buy each part individually for $49, or you could buy like the whole thing for, or one part, I think it was each part individually for $97, or you could buy the whole thing, all three parts for $149. So I was like, all three parts, $149, deal done, right? So I bought all three parts for $149. And I then remember downloading the glute building portion of the program, because I was like, I really want to build my glutes. So if there's a glute building portion of the program, I'm going to follow that. So I looked at Emily Skye's glutes. I was like, yep, definitely glutes that I aspire to have. And I looked at the program and I was like, 4 weeks? Fantastic. So I'm going to have glutes like Emily Skye's in 4 weeks. I mean, this is amazing. I was like so excited. This is all it takes. And so I looked at the program and I was like, oh, she has options for gym or home. And I remember thinking, well, why am I going to waste my time and energy and effort going to the gym if I can do the program at home? Like, surely she wouldn't put the program in there if the home program didn't get as good a result as the gym got. So I can just do the home program. So I was like, oh, home program has body weight squats, body weight Bulgarian split squats, frog pumps, all these different exercises. I'm like, this is so easy. So I'm like in the bedroom, right? With one leg up on the chair in the bedroom doing my body weight Bulgarian split squats. My husband's coming in. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm just getting my workout in before we go out tonight. And 20 minutes, I was done. Didn't even break a sweat. I was like, I can't believe this is all it takes to build glutes like Emily Skye's. Like, I was absolutely blown away. I thought this was the best program ever. And so I remember looking at my glutes, like at the end of week 1, thinking, 1 week down, I remember looking at them and thinking, examining them in the mirror, do they look any bigger? I kept saying to my husband, do my glutes look any bigger? My husband, a long-time professional athlete, goes, Kim, it's only been 1 week. And I was like, I know, but this is a 4-week program. So like, surely I expected, if Emily's glutes are this size, right? And my glutes were this size, I expected after 1 week, it would be here, week 2 here, week 3 here, week 4, ta-da, I would have glutes like Emily's. This is how naive I was. So I started doing the program. Then, of course, it came to week 2. I was like, maybe the magic happens in week 3. And so then I did week 3. And then it was like, And then after week 4, I thought, I can't see any change in my glutes at all. I thought maybe it's me. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I should go to the gym. Maybe it's like the home program. I mean, if I'm honest, I don't really feel like the home program's working too much. So, maybe I'll go to the gym instead. So I then started going to the gym and I started training in the gym, but I completely and utterly ignored the food portion of the program. Like, I completely ignored the food portion and I just did the gym portion. And I believed, like, I know nutrition well enough. I'm a yoga teacher who runs a nutrition side of the program. Like, I know all about vegan nutrition, knew nothing about bodybuilding nutrition, but I was like, I don't need to follow the nutrition part of the program. I'll just do the gym part of the program. So long story short, after about 3 months of training in the gym, I started to notice kind of some changes in my body, but not really a huge amount. Like, I started to notice some in my upper body. I certainly noticed my strength was getting, better. Like, I was lifting more weights. I was enjoying going to the gym, but I really wasn't noticing a huge amount of difference in the areas that I had wanted to see the most difference in, which was my glutes and my legs. And so I found a trainer who I messaged him and I was like, I think I want to do a bikini competition. Will you train me? And he was like, yes, 100% I'll train you. So anyway, I went to train them and I said to him, so I want to do a bikini competition. And he goes, right, okay, let me get a look at you. So he looks at me and I'm thinking, I've been training 3 months now. Like, I think I'm ready. So he looks at me and he goes, okay. He says, I would say we'll aim for a show next year. And I was like, what do you mean next year? And he goes, next year, like this was about April, I think. He goes, we'll aim for a show next April. And I was like, next April? Like, what do you mean next April? I said, do you not think I'm ready now? And he was like, are you kidding me? And I said, why not? And he said, Kim, you are so far away from being ready for a bikini show, you'd be laughed off stage. And I remember being like, but I've been training for 3 months and I have built loads of muscle. Like, I had this real, I thought that I looked better than I did. I thought I had more muscle than I did. I just did not understand what it took to be a bikini athlete. And now, FYI, I'm far bigger than a bikini athlete now. Like, I could not compete in the bikini category. So, like, the bikini category really doesn't have an enormous amount of muscle. And he said I was a year away from that category. So I remember being like, okay, so, like, well, what do I do now? Because I really thought, like, I was ready to stand on stage. And Curtis said, you just eat and train. And I remember being like, oh, like, for how long? And he said, until I tell you you're ready. So I remember going, right, okay, great. So of course I was going, I'll be ready far sooner than anyone else he's ever trained. I'm going to work harder. I was like, he just doesn't understand how hard I can work, right? I can work so hard. So I said to him, well, how many times a week do I need to train? And he said, 5. I was like, 5? I thought I was like great because I was going to the gym like 2 or 3 times a week. And he was like, yeah, 5. You need to come here 5 times a week. It's like, 5 times a week? Okay. So I was like, how much is that going to cost? He was like, 150 quid a week. 150 quid a week. I was a yoga teacher at the time. I was like, shit, I'm going to have to like teach so many extra classes to be able to afford this. But I was like, I really want it, so I'm going to do it. So he said, you just need to eat and train. So I did. I showed up to the gym 5 days a week on schedule. Like, I 10 o'clock, I think it was in the morning. No, it didn't. I went in, I taught yoga in the morning until 12. And then I went and trained, with him every day. I think it was like 12:30 or something. I went to the gym. I trained 12:30 to 1:30 every day, 5 days a week. And I showed up and I ate and I trained and I ate and I trained and I ate and I trained. And I had zero expectations of what else I was supposed to do, because Curtis had said to me, you are nowhere near ready to stand on stage. You have to build a lot of muscle in order to get super lean, in order to be able to stand on stage with any kind of fighting chance. You need to build muscle. And the only way you build muscle is by eating and training and eating and training and eating and training consistently until I tell you you're ready. I was like, okay. So I showed up 5 days a week, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 9 months. I showed up 5 days a week. I trained the hardest I could possibly train, although I thought I was training hard until I met my current trainer, Mark Getty. And then I realized that I hadn't really been training hard at all. But I had been training quite hard as I possibly could, as hard as Curtis knew how to train me. And then in December, he said to me, okay, he said, I think you're ready to start dieting. And I was like, really? And he said, yeah. He said, you've put on a good amount of muscle, really good amount of muscle. And he said, it'll take another couple of years to really mature your muscle into the bikini category, but I think you're nearly ready. And I remember showing Curtis like pictures of like bikini models. And I was like, I want to look like her on stage. And he was like, Kim, she's been training for like 10 years. And I'm like, how do you know? And he's like, because I know by looking at her. I'm like, okay, what about this one here? He's like, no, Kim, you're never going to look like that on stage. She's been training 7, 8 years at least. And I remember going, how does he know this? Like, how does he know just from looking at these people? But the reason he knew by looking at these people is because he had been training a long time himself and he'd been training other people a long time. And he knew just how long it took to build muscle. So what happened was, stood on stage. I dieted for 4 months. We all know the very unsuccessful diet story because I still believed that I knew better than my trainer and I didn't actually follow the advice that he gave me. And so I didn't lose the weight that I should have lost the first time around because I was very good at following the plan for the first 9 months, which was just eat and train, very bad at following the shred plan because I thought he doesn't know my body as well as I know my body. I know my body far better than some man who hardly knows me. So of course I'm going to be able to figure this out. No, didn't. He did, just FYI, a trainer doesn't need to know your body. I think this is a misconception that many women have. They're like, oh, but my body is unique. Like we believe that we are unique and that our difficulties are unique and the way our body processes food is unique and the way, we digest or don't digest things is unique to us. Every woman believes that she is unique and that she needs to be treated in a very unique way. But that's only because your body is the only body that you've ever had really any experience over. So of course you think it's unique. But what you haven't done is worked with a large group of people. And whenever you've worked with a large group of people that Curtis had and that I have, what you realize is, yes, everybody is unique. But on the I was going to say on the basis of probability, it's not that, but that there is a certain criteria that you can apply across the board to everybody that will get results. So that bodies aren't actually that unique. Just like we think as people we're unique, but actually people aren't that unique. We're really not that unique. People are very, very, very similar. And I know that because I'm in marketing. I know that if something moves me, it's going to move you. I know that if something makes me cry, it's probably going to make you cry. I know that if something makes me happy, it's probably going to make you happy. So human beings are unique, but we're actually not that different. And so Curtis knew how to get people shredded. And I was not unique. I was not different. I just needed to follow the bodybuilder science that he was laying out for me, which was calories out versus calories in, energy expenditure versus energy coming in. And I didn't do that because I thought I was unique. And so I didn't get good results. So here's what happened. There is a point to this very long story, but I think it's really important that you understand my journey and how I arrived at where I am today, because I see you guys struggling with the same thing. So what happened was I then decided to create the Sculpted Vegan program, which was a 12-month program, which taught women how to sculpt the body of a physique athlete in 12 months, even if they've never stepped foot in a gym, because I had never stepped foot in a gym. And I had gone from being, never stepping foot in a gym to standing on stage 12 months later as a vegan. And so I basically documented my entire program, my entire journey, and I sold it. The reason why I sold it as a 12-month program was because I had been super upset with Emily Skye. Not super upset, like I'm exaggerating, but I had felt whenever I bought Emily Skye's program, because it was only 4 weeks long and I saw a picture of her glutes, I assumed I was going to get her glutes in 4 weeks. And I felt lied to by the marketing, because I was like, she should have been realistic and told me that, this is just the starter program for your body, or this is just a glute program that I do, but you're not going to have my glutes in 4 weeks. I really felt like there should have been some kind of disclaimer on the program, right? That said that you're not going to get my results in 4 weeks. This is just a start. And so the reason why I wanted to create a 12-month program was because I wanted women to join the 12-month program and understand that it was going to take 12 months, that they weren't going to have results in 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 12 weeks, because I had felt lied to whenever I had bought the program. And so that's why I made my first program a 12-month program. But here's what happened. I launched the program. We started to sell, programs every single day. We were selling between 2 and 12 programs per day. And the women joining it were doing exactly what you guys are doing now. They were getting excited. They were learning this new way of being. I was coaching them every Tuesday in a Q&A. They were learning all of this new information and they were loving it and it was great. And they, were trying this new way of dieting and they were listening to me, and I was saying, you need to focus on building muscle first. Muscle is how you raise the metabolism. Lean muscle tissue is what changes your body's shape. It's what changes your body's metabolism. It's what changes your entire life. It's what makes you stronger. It's what makes you smarter. You need to focus on building muscle. And they were like, okay, but I have fat to lose. I'm like, I know you have fat to lose and you will lose the fat, but this is not a fast shred. The fat will come off gradually as you control your diet, build muscle, and stay patient over the long term. I kept saying to them, this is a 12-month program. It's not a 12-week program. It's not a 12-day program. It's a 12-month program. You've purchased a body transformation program. The reason it's 12 months long is because that's how long it's going to take. Does anyone see where I'm going with this? So here's what happened. After about 6 months of running that program, women started to drop off. And they were dropping off because they were disheartened with the results. And I was saying to them, what results are you expecting? And they said, we wanted, when I say drop off, they were just becoming disheartened with the program. And I was saying, what results were you expecting? And they were saying, well, I really just wanted to lose body fat. And I'm like, but you are losing body fat. I know, but I wanted to lose it faster. So I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. So I said to the team, you know what? These bitches want fast fat loss. I'm going to give them fast loss. I was like, I'm going to create the hardest shred program that I've ever created that is literally going to annihilate body fat for them. And so I created a program, a 4-week shred. It was the first ever 4-week shred that only had 13 foods on the list. 13. That was it. It was like, here is your list of 13 foods. This is all you can eat for 4 weeks. I swear, whenever people say now that they think my shreds are restrictive, I'm like, oh, you have no idea what it used to be in the beginning. So I created this program that only had 13 foods on the list, right? And it got absolutely and utterly insane results. And so half of the people in the 12-month program jumped over into the 4-week shred program, and they did the 4-week shred program, and then they, got good fat loss results or whatever. And then they did nothing, while the rest of the people continued on eating and training and following the program in the 12-month program. And then the ones who had jumped into the 4-week shred, sure, they lost some body fat, but then they were like, oh, what do we do now? And I might go back into the 12-month program. So they went back there and kind of hung around and satiated for a while. And then, of course, that one worked so well. What did I do? I launched another 4-week program. So like, yay! And they all jumped back into the 4-week program. And then they lost all of the weight that they had put on in between the two programs because, of course, once they had lost the weight, they didn't go back to, because they weren't on a slow, steady trajectory of losing body fat and a slow, steady incline of building muscle. They jumped in, they lost body fat, but then they put it back on. So what did they do? Well, they jumped into the next shred and they lost body fat, but then they didn't know how to keep it, so they put it back on. And then they jumped in, they lost body fat, and then, the cycle continued. So we kept launching these 4-week shred programs, and the 4-week shred programs did really, really well. And we had this portion of people who kept following the 4-week shred programs. And then we had this portion of people who stayed the fucking course on the 12-month program, who didn't bitch and whinge, who recognized that Kim Constable actually knew what she was talking about, and that probably the best course of action to get Kim Constable's body was just to trust what Kim Constable was teaching and follow the program. And that's what they did. And those people graduated the 12-month program completely and utterly transformed. And the other people who jumped into the 4-week shreds never, ever, ever transformed. And some of those people, you know who you are, probably no one here, in fairness. Some of those people are still buying our shred programs today, and their body has not changed. Their body changes for a short period of time while they're in the shred programs, but then their body goes back to what it was before. So the ultimate transformation that they are chasing never, ever, ever happens. It's the same as whenever you're building a business. People who build a business who are just chasing money will jump from one get-rich-quick scheme to another. And they may make a little bit of money in one get-rich-quick scheme. And then they lose all the money again, or they spend it and then they do another scheme and then they lose it and then they spend and they do another one. So they're always jumping from one thing to another. Like, we know people like this, okay? We all know someone or people who do this. And then you've got people who, like me, decide on one course of action and just consistently show up year after year, day after day, week after week, and just follow through. And those people build sustainable, big, multi-million dollar global companies. People say to me all the time, Kim, how have you managed to build a multi-million dollar global empire? And I say, because I showed up every single day for 8 years. I just showed up and showed up and showed up and showed up. And when I didn't feel like it, and when it was raining, and when I was tired, and when I was nearly broke, and when I, had loads of other shit going on, I just showed up every single day and I kept moving forward every single day, which is why now I've managed to build what I've managed to build. And so what I realized from running the 12-month program is, in this world, there are two types of people. And I want you to think about which type you are and which type you want to be. And seriously, no judgment here for whichever type you are, whichever type you decide to be, because there are some people who will decide that they are okay with being one type. Okay. So the first type of person is the person who is obsessed with fast results, who needs the fast results. And they say that they want the fast results because the fast results keep them motivated, but this isn't true. It's a lie. How do I know it's a lie? 8 years of running this company, more than 500,000 programs sold. For 99.9% of the people who say fast results keep them motivated, it's a lie. It only keeps them motivated for a short space of time. There are very, very, very few people who successfully, and there are some, okay? There are some who've come through the program. So I'm not saying there isn't any, but maybe 1% of people coming through my programs over the years successfully jump into a shred program, complete the shred, and then go back to their muscle building journey and continue on that, and then maybe jump into another shred. And then so they do actually move incrementally towards their goal, but they are very, very, very few and far between. Most people jump into a 4-week shred or an 8-week shred or a 12-week shred. They lose a lot of body fat. They get really excited because they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. I've lost loads of weight. And then they fall off the wagon and they come to the end of it and they go, I don't know what to do next. And I go, do this long-term program over here, which will help you sustainably achieve the body that you're hoping to achieve. But it'll give you a realistic time frame of doing it, which is kind of 6, 12, 24, 36, 48 months, right? And they go, oh, yay, that sounds great. And so they jump into that program, aka Extreme Menopause Body Makeover. And then after 2 weeks, they go, I'm feeling really disheartened because I'm not getting the results. And we're like, well, what results are you expecting? They're like, well, I lost so much weight on the 4-week shred. I'm like, well, that's because it was a shred, an intense, short 4-week shred designed to get very, very, very fast fat loss results in a very short space of time. This program is not designed to get very, very fast fat loss results in a very short space of time. This program is a minimum of 6 months long because that's how long the results are supposed to take. And they go, I know, I know, but okay, I'll just be patient. But inwardly they're thinking, well, fuck you. I don't want to be patient. I want fast fat loss and I want it now, right? I've never done this, by the way. I've heard that other people have done this. I've never done this before in my life before. It's a hypothesis that I've come up with from watching other people. So what's the moral of this story? I can't get my hair comfortable. I'm sorry. I keep flipping it around. I'm just not used to having all this hair hanging around me whenever I'm teaching. So what's the moral of this story? The moral of this story is I'm going to map out to you, okay, which I don't think I've ever done, what this program should look like and what you should expect over the next 6 to 12 months, because I think it's really, really important for you to have a realistic expectation of what you should be achieving on this program, because it is not a fast fat loss program. It's not. And you're not supposed to be losing enormous amounts of weight in the first 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks, this is now week 3, you're supposed to be figuring shit out, right? Trying this, trying that, trying whatever. You're supposed to have the space to make this work and to be evaluating where you are based on, where you want to be by taking weekly progress pictures, which you keep in a folder on your phone. And, this is a longer term program. And the reason why it's designed the way it is because if you follow this program consistently forever, right? Not just for 6 months, but forever, you will and can have a body like mine, if that's what your goal is, or at least close to mine, but not even close to mine, but you will have a body with a lot more muscle. Why is it important to have a body with a lot more muscle? Because when you have muscle, everything changes. Your metabolism goes through the roof. You don't have to live on slow carbs all the time. You can eat toast and white potato and sweet potato and pasta and rice. You can eat all of these forbidden foods, even in menopause. You can even have fruit if you want and oats, right? Nothing is off limits. Whenever you have muscle, the minute you start to diet, your body will drop fat so quickly. I'm dieting at the minute for a photo shoot. I've only been dieting for 2 weeks. I haven't weighed myself. I don't know what I've lost, but I have dropped an enormous amount of body fat. And that's dieting 5 days a week and having the weekends off. On the weekends there, I had alcohol. I was out for dinner. I was out for lunch and out for dinner. I had bread. I had vegan cheeses. I had, totally stuff that was off plan. I didn't go completely nuts, but I was out for lunch on Friday and lunch on Saturday. And then I had a beautiful big roast dinner last night. So I was off dieting this weekend and my body has still continued to lose an enormous amount of body fat. How? Because I have so much muscle that the minute I start cutting down calories slightly and introduce some cardio, which is just 45 minutes of uphill walking 6 days a week. That's all I've added in. So I've added in cardio, I've taken out calories, and my body, boom, drops body fat, so quickly. Why? Because I have spent the last 8 years, if we go back to what I was teaching in the very beginning, I've spent the last 8 years building muscle, focusing on building muscle. Muscle is the key to changing your body. It's the key to changing your body. I have built this program. Laura and I wrote this program on exactly how she and I eat and train every single day. And I don't know if you have noticed how gorgeous Laura Hutchinson is and how muscular she is. She has the most incredible body. And she built that body through eating and training the way that we teach you on this program. This is not a fast fat loss program. This is a lifestyle program. I need you to stop obsessing over every tiny detail of the program. I need you to stop obsessing about protein amounts and if creatine is making you itchy. It's not, okay? I need you to stop obsessing about getting the exact weight in the gym and obsessing over, whether you should have 1 teaspoon of oat milk or 2, or, you're in this for the lifestyle. I know you want to get it right. I get that you want to get it right. I get that you think that if you just get it right, you'll get faster results. But I know the faster results that you want is fat loss. And I get that you want fat loss. But just like people start a business because they want money and they want money now. But it never comes now. You have to work for it and build up to it over years and years and years and years and years. No one who starts a business gets rich immediately. Very, 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 very few. People who are wealthy spent a long time accumulating wealth through working every single day. People who are in incredible shape spent a long time training, eating, building, moving, adopting a new healthy lifestyle over a long period of time. This is the lifestyle program that you told me you wanted. I created it for you, all of you, you menopausal women who I was gonna laugh, like, you menopausal bitches, right? You bitches in menopause. This is what you told me you wanted. So I created it for you. And now you're all obsessing over every tiny detail of everything. Stop it. Stop it. It's not going to get you there any faster. Relax. Trust. Follow the program. If I put a recipe in the hub, you can follow the recipe. If you're not sure, ask a question, because this is a learning process. It's a long, slow learning process. Like I said, there's the black area in the middle, but there's this big gray area around it where things are, yeah, okay, it's allowed, but just don't go crazy with it. Can I have this? Well, technically no, but is it going to hinder fat loss? Probably not. Have a little. There's this gray area, but the only way that you figure out about this gray area is by following the program. But the other thing you have to remember is what changes your body in the long term is building muscle. You have to focus on building muscle, whether that's following the workouts at home with your body weight, whether that's pushing in your home gym, whether that's pushing in the gym, with big, heavy weights, which is going to get you the best results. Of course, the more load you place on your muscle, the faster your results. Yes, we have a home program there for those of you who don't want to go to the gym. And the home program is effective, but is it as effective as if you went to the gym and lifted heavy weights? Well, it depends what you mean by effective. Is it going to build muscle as fast? No. But that's assuming that you going to the gym are in fact lifting heavy weights. There's many people going to the gym are not lifting heavy weights. And there's many people at home are training their asses off with body weight. So those people are actually going to get better results than people going to the gym and lifting lighter weights. So the more intensity you train with, the faster your results. The more you work out, the fitter you get, the more you build muscle, the more your body is going to be able to absorb the calories that you're eating, and insulin resistance becomes a thing of the past because you have so much muscle to absorb all of the glucose in your blood. But you have to get out there, you have to train, you have to eat, you have to follow the program, you have to stop expecting that this is a 4-week shred or an 8-week shred, or that you're going to get really, really fast fat loss results. It's not designed that way. And if that's what you want, you're in the wrong program. So, but the thing is, if you say, well, I'm in the wrong program, well, what does that mean? That I should have bought the 4-week shred? Well, yeah, probably. But here's the thing. If you keep buying shred programs and I'm not saying you shouldn't do a shred program because they are great for a little boost of motivation. But the problem is most people who buy them and do them don't continue on with some kind of program like this after they've finished, and which keeps them moving forward. They just go back to the way they were before. They put all of the weight back on again, and then they jump into another shred. So they never change. It's like someone chasing get-rich-quick schemes. They may get temporarily rich, but they'll spend all the money and then they have to do it all over again. So they never achieve true wealth and true freedom. True freedom comes whenever you follow the fucking plan. Sorry for all the F-bombs today, but I really feel that some are necessary for this talk. So true freedom comes follow the exact same plan that got me where I am today at 46 years of age, that got Laura where she is today, that got hundreds of thousands of women all over the world where they are today by following our programs. The reason why the last Extreme Menopause Body Makeover got such good results is because the ones in the top 10, whenever it was a competition, followed the plan. They followed the plan to the letter. You ask any winner of any of our competitions, what did you do? And every single one of them will tell you, I followed the plan. I didn't question it. I didn't change it. I didn't try to sneak things in that weren't there. I didn't try and shorten the cardio or lengthen the cardio. I followed the plan. I did exactly what she told me to do, and I followed the plan. That's why men get such good results in bodybuilding, because a man finds a coach, and men are very good at following orders. Women are shit at following orders. We really are. I'm very good at following orders now because I used to be so defiant, right? And I used to think that I knew best. So I used to hear what the order was and then just to change it to what suited me and then do that instead and then complain whenever I didn't get the results. Men don't do that. Men go, tell me what I need to do. And so you say, follow this plan, eat this food, lift these weights and do this for 6 months. And they go, okay. And so 6 months later, they come back and you go, oh, wow, you've really changed. And they go, yeah, I did what you told me. I ate this and I trained this and I did this and I did it consistently for 6 months. What now? That's what men do, right? Women don't do that. So here's what you should expect, okay? Over the next, let me just pull up my notes. Here's what you should expect over the next 6 months. I just gave you a bit of a breakdown here, and I'm going to make this into a PDF and I'm going to put this in the hub, okay? This is what I love about this program. I'm actually getting a chance to really develop this program live with you guys and really give you what it is that you need right now. And here is what I have hypothesized that you will need over the next 6 months. And this could be subject to change, but this is what I've seen from all of my years of experience. Here's what I wrote here in big letters. Most people aren't willing to do what it takes. And if this is you, I can't help you. I told you I was giving you some tough love today. I said, if you're addicted to the quick fix, you're in the wrong program and you should just continue to buy the 4-week shreds that we release and yo-yo back and forth between those. If you want the lifestyle and body change that is permanent, then here is what you should expect. Month number 1. You'll start to establish new eating and gym habits. You'll play around a bit with what works for you and for your digestive system. You will fail a ton. You'll get to know the gym. You'll familiarize yourself with the exercises if you're doing it at home. Weight loss and muscle gain will be minimal as you work all of this out. So month 1 is all about working it all out, figuring it all out, seeing how strong you are, trying the exercises, eating beans and chickpeas and realizing that you can't cope with the gas. And so you have to limit this and limit that, or try this or try that. Okay. It's all about figuring it out, trying different foods, trying different ways of eating, trying lentil porridge and realizing that you would rather eat your own, toe than eat lentil porridge in the morning, right? You're like, not for me, need to find another option. Or some people are like, delicious, cauliflower for breakfast. Who knew? Fabulous. And so it's all about trial and error. This works for me. This doesn't work for me. Figuring out what works for you. Weight loss and muscle gain will be minimal because you're just figuring it all out. Month number 2. This month is harder than month number 1. Yes, harder. You've figured out a good eating plan that works for you. Breakfast is pretty consistent and you're getting better at choosing recipes and eating out in restaurants successfully. You think you've figured out a workout program that works with your lifestyle, but there's still a bit of chopping and changing. You might notice your clothes feel a bit looser on you, but you won't see any visible muscle gain. But you're bored. Bored. You've been trying so hard and it's been really tough. Like I've been really working so hard and I'm exhausted, quite frankly, like trying to figure it all out. And I'm really fed up with not seeing any results. Like this is what goes through your head, right? You're like, you look in the mirror every day and you're hoping to see baby muscles poke through. And you're like me with doing Emily Sky's butt program. And you think that after, 4 weeks, you're going to see massive amount of glute gain, glute growth. And then you don't. And you've been showing up every day and you've been eating this shit food. And let's just be honest, right? Like who the wants to eat cauliflower for breakfast? Like you're only doing it for the fat loss. And you look in the mirror every day and you don't see any fucking fat loss. And it's not worth eating cauliflower for breakfast if you're not going to get the results. And it's been 2 goddamn months now. 2, right? 2. And you're not seeing any results. And honestly, quite frankly, you just feel like giving up. Kim Constable lied. Like she never said it would be this hard, right? Oh, she promised in her ads, oh, it's amazing. I'm going to change your body. You're going to love it. Eat all the food you want, right? It's going to be so easy. Well, it's not easy, Kim. Okay. So you lied. So there. And I'm fed up and I'm considering giving up, but I don't hate you enough yet to give up. So I'm going to keep going for a while longer into month 3. But here's the thing. It's now month 3 and I expected to be completely jacked and shredded. Like seriously. Especially with all the effort I've been putting in. And even though, Kim, you said this was a long process, I definitely feel like the effort I've been putting in should have yielded me better results because it's been really hard. And I have had to cook 2 separate meals every night for me and my family. And they get to eat mashed potato and I have to eat mashed cauliflower again. Like seriously. And I'm so boring and I can't drink alcohol during the week and I miss Margarita Tuesday, right? I mean, I had to give up Margarita Tuesday for you and it's now month 3 and I'm still not seeing this goddamn beautiful body that you promised me, Kim. And had I just seen a little more results by now, I think I would have felt a little more motivated. But, I'm not. So, but I'm still here, right? Still here, Kim, still holding on because I'm 3 months in now. And so I may as well keep going. But I'm not liking what I see here. And maybe the program doesn't work or maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'm just going to go into the Facebook group and check actually if I'm doing something wrong. Maybe it's the amount of protein because I know Kim said 150 grams a day, but I'm pretty sure that I've only been having 148.2 grams a day. And I wonder if having 148.2 grams a day has actually just completely messed up my results. I think that must be it. I think it's the 1.8 grams of protein per day that I've been missing, because 1.8 grams multiplied over 7 days, that's like 12 grams of protein that I've been missing a week. And that's probably why I haven't been putting on any results. And I actually, whenever I measured my creatine scoop, I realized that the scoop was 5 grams, but the loading dose on the back of the packet says 10 grams. And I should have actually been having a loading dose for the first 4 weeks of 10 grams. And I've only been having 5 grams. And it's probably the creatine that isn't getting me the good results. That's probably why I'm not shredded and jacked, because it's month 3 and it's been really hard. And I've been so tired all the time, and I still haven't got any results to show for it. And it's certainly not the results I wanted or expected. And so I'm just feeling very disheartened. I'm just going to go into the group and check if only having 48.2 grams of protein every day or 148.2 grams of protein has actually messed up my results, because I think that must be what it is, because I really don't understand why I haven't gotten the results that I expected by now. As we slide into month 4. And then you realize one morning as you wake up and you knock off your alarm and you get out of bed and you slip on your gym clothes while the rest of the world is still sleeping, because it's 4:30 a.m. and it's the middle of winter. And what god-awful program did you ever consider joining that meant you had to get up at 4:30 a.m. and work out? Because you can't believe people actually do this by choice. And so anyway, you're in the car at 4:45 a.m., protein shake in hand, having necked a double espresso, driving to the gym, and you're whistling actually to the song that came on the radio, because it's quite, because it's a good song, right? And you turn up the volume and you drive into the car park in the gym, and you see your gym buddy as you get out of the car and you're like, hey, how you doing? And you walk past reception and they're like, morning, and you're like, morning, and you slide on into the gym at 5 a.m. and then you have this realization that, yeah, that was hard, but I wasn't actually that hard. It wasn't as hard as it was in the beginning. And oh my God, what if you're now actually the kind of person who goes to the gym at 5 a.m. without really bitching or whinging or complaining about it? And you've actually stopped telling people all the time now that you meet that you go to the gym at 5 a.m. because in the beginning it was very important to tell people that you're the kind of person who goes to the gym at 5 a.m. every day, because it's like, who even is this person? But now you don't even tell people that you go to the gym at 5 a.m. because it's just what you do, right? You just go to the gym every day. And the beautiful thing starts happening in month 4 is you can't actually imagine not training every day. You're like, imagine you try to remember back to when you didn't train 4 or 5 days a week, and you can't really remember what you used to do with all the time that you had, except you definitely know you used to drink and eat a lot more than you do now. But there's who has time for eating and drinking now? And in month 4, actually, what happens quite often is you actually have managed to add in some cardio, because you used to find it really hard to go to the gym every day and eat this way, but now it's kind of pretty normal. You prep your food in advance, you know exactly what to choose, you know what works and what doesn't work. Protein powders, you have it on like repeat order from the Protein Works. And then you realize, shit, you've actually got time for some cardio. So you started throwing in some cardio at lunchtime, or maybe, in the morning, you get up an extra half hour early and you did some cardio before you went to the gym, or you slotted in an extra, bit of cardio after your workout in the gym before you, went to work or whatever. And one day you look in the mirror and you go, what is that? And you're like, oh, it's a muscle. And you're like, oh, you notice a delt, right? And you pull on your work pants and you're like, I think these have stretched, because they used to be a lot tighter, right? And you're heading off to work, and then somebody at work goes to you, wow, you look amazing. Like, have you lost weight? And you're like, well, actually, yeah, I think I have. And then people start to comment that you look different. Their face looks different. They go, have you done something different with your hair? Like what? And you can't tell them specifically what it is, and people don't know what it is. They just know that you look different. And that's when the magic starts to happen. You're stronger in the gym. It was hard before, but it's not really that hard now. It's still a bit of a slog at times, but it's kind of just what you do. You start hitting new personal bests in the gym. You notice that you're getting stronger. You're used to the exercises. Like there was a couple of times actually when the machines were busy, and like look at you. You just like whipped out your phone and asked Google alternative for Smith military press, and Google gave you some alternatives. And like you just did them. You didn't even have to go into the Facebook group and ask, right? You just literally thought, well, Google says I can do it with dumbbells, and like I know the action now. And you just picked up those bad boys and you just pressed them overhead like a mofo. And the next day you had pains in your shoulders that you didn't have before. So you're like, wow, my front delts really must have fired with those dumbbell presses. And you think, maybe I might add those in again, because surely they're just working the same exercises, and the same muscle group. And you didn't even have to ask him, was it okay? You are the kind of person who can actually substitute gym exercises when one is not available, and you're like, who even is this person? Eating this way now is so normal, you can't even remember what it felt like to not eat this way. You look at people eating white carbs and you're like, oh, if you only knew what those are doing to your body. If you only knew how your blood sugar is rising from all of that fiber, non-existent carbohydrate you're shoving in your mouth. You want to start educating people now on slow carbs and insulin levels, and you start talking to other menopausal women about, insulin resistance, and educating on them what they should do to change. And people start looking at you in a different light, and they're like, who even is this chick? Like, this knowledgeable fit chick. And they're like, and then you start to get a reputation as being Bethany the fit chick, right? Bethany the fit chick in work. Or someone will say about going to the gym, and someone will go, oh, hey, Bethany, she goes to the gym every day. Like, she is a gym rat. And you're like, a gym rat? People are actually referring to you as a gym rat, right? Now people are starting to refer other people to you because they see you with your protein shake. They see you saying no to the sweet treats in work. They see you in the gym every single day. They know that you're up doing your cardio. Your shape is changing. You look amazing. Like, you even turn up to work events in yoga pants and stuff because you're or in gym gear. You're like, yeah, sorry, I just came straight from the gym. Like, this is who you become. So you slide on into month 5. The weight is beginning to fall gently away, and you're noticing some big muscles appearing. Yay! A few people have commented that you look different. Every day you notice something different about your shape that wasn't there before. You get encouraged by your progress and you decide to keep going. On into month 6. You're so established in the gym now, you've started to make some new fit friends. Yeah, even asked for a spot a few times on your final failure set. Some big muscly guy, you and he have been exchanging knowing looks in the gym. Now, not those kinds of knowing looks, just like you and me, fit friend kind of looks. And so you're on there and you're doing your bench press one day and you think, maybe I'll ask him for a spot. And so you look over and you're like, would you give me a spot in the final set? And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem at all. And he treats you with respect. And he's like, how many are you going for? You're like, I want 10. He's like, let's go. And you're like, I'll probably get 3 or 4 by myself, but don't lift it. Just give me a lift through the failure point. And he's like, no problem at all. And so you're benching and you're pushing out those PRs. And he goes, wow, you're pretty strong for a girl. And you're like, thanks. Yeah, I've been training a while. This is the kind of shit that starts to happen in month 6. You invest in some new gym gear to show off this body. You're like, who knew that booty lifting, cellulite reducing leggings existed? But they did. And now you own 3 pairs. You feel a sense of pride and achievement every day. You start to feel like a new person. You're hitting new personal bests every day now in the gym, or at least every week. And your strength is going through the roof. What used to feel hard feels easy now. It's insane. You can't even imagine not living this lifestyle. And this is truly where the magic starts to happen. Month 6 to 12. This is where everything feels easy and normal. It's still busy, yes, but you have hit a level of lifestyle that was not there before, and you can't even imagine being any other way. The exercises feel so familiar now. You're frequently asking Google for alternatives whenever that machine is busy in the gym. This is when your new body starts to emerge. This is when you hit the peak and you start to cruise down the other side. This is why this program is a minimum of 6 months long, because it takes that long for you to establish a new norm that you can keep going with, which will give you success ultimately in the long run. If this were if I was able to give you these results in 4 weeks, I would have created a 4-week program. I don't want you to have to work any longer or harder than you have to. If you could get 8-year results in 8 weeks, I would give you an 8-week program. But scientifically, it is impossible to get those kinds of results in any shorter a time span than what we're giving you now. 6 months is just the beginning. That's why I gave you guys lifetime access to this program, because I don't want this to be a short-term solution for you. I want this to be your lifestyle program. Now, can you jump into a shred program? If we decided to, we will release another shred, actually a January shred. Can you jump into that one if you want, for the buzz and excitement and a bit of a chance at some prize money and to shred off some fat? 100%. 100%, as long as you promise you'll come back to this and continue on with the eating principles, the training principles, the supplementation principles, the coaching. As long as you swear you will never give up. because that is what happens. And that's what we've witnessed. It's what I've witnessed over 8 years of running this company. There are two types of people. I'm just going to summarize before we finish. Two types of people. There are the ones who yo-yo through the shreds. They lose it, they put it back on. They lose it, they put it back on. They lose it, they put it back on. And then there are the lifestyle bunnies, right? The lifestyle gurus, the lifestyle bitches, let's call you, since there's been a lot of swearing in this program today. The lifestyle, right? Lifestyle bitches. These are the ones who commit to the long-term process and who trust. I hate to say be more like a man, but in this instance, please be more like a man. Just follow the program and understand that it is not going to happen really, really, really fast. It's a slow, long process. And the first 6 months are really all about trial and error. The first 6 months are about establishing a routine, establishing a new norm, establishing a training pattern, establishing an eating pattern, establishing, a whole new understanding of your body and lifestyle and fitness. You're literally learning an entire new industry. It's like starting a new job. You would never expect to be completely proficient in every single aspect of the company within 4 weeks. It's only after 6 months in a new job that you really feel like you've scraped the surface of the company and the culture and what they're about. And it takes a long time to really, you have to be with a company a long time to truly understand the core and the culture. It's exactly the same with bodybuilding and fitness. And this is the lifestyle program that will sculpt you the body that you want, if only you will be patient enough to stick with it and to fall in love with the process, not with the result. Because if you fall in love with perfecting the process, and I understand that does not mean obsessing over the process, okay? Fall in love with perfecting the process for you by constantly measuring your results. Take weekly photographs and put your photographs side by side and assess your progress week by week by week. Commit to falling in love with the process. And when you do that, everything changes. I had a lot of fun today. I hope you guys had a lot of fun too. I think this was necessary. So forgive me if I went on a little, but I'm hoping that you're going to get a lot out of it. And I'm hoping that you have a lot to think about, I guess, moving forward. And I hope that it's giving you a little more confidence to just relax into the process and understand that this is an entirely new lifestyle change that you are undergoing. And that if you'll just stick with it, we will help you get there, but you have to be patient in the long term. So on Wednesday, we're going to be doing a Q&A. We're going to be doing an Ask Me Anything Q&A. We're going to put up the graphic today, so get your questions under the graphic. Last week, I did spend a long time in the questions. I will go through them this week rather than reading from top to bottom, and I will choose the best ones, the ones that cover the most frequently asked questions. And we'll dive into a really good Q&A on Wednesday. We'll have a lot of fun. And then if you have any suggestions, I actually might put up a post and figure out what you guys are struggling with for a masterclass for next week. I do want to dive into training and how you should be training and how to build muscle and really what you should be focusing on in order to, make that super efficient. So that's what I plan to teach next week. But if you have other suggestions or if you're preferring the mindset stuff, then I'm more than happy to dig back into this stuff as well. But I'll put up a post in the group and get some opinions on what it is that you guys want, and we'll take it from there. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of everything that you're doing to move yourself towards this new healthy lifestyle. And I'm proud of the effort that you've put in up until now. And even if you failed this week, even if you fell off the wagon, I don't care. I want you to give yourself a massive big pat in the back for what you have managed to achieve. Even if it was only 1 or 2 little changes, I want you to congratulate yourself for what you have done rather than focus on what you didn't do, because focusing on your wins is going to move you forward far faster than focusing on the things that you didn't do, focusing on your failures. So I'm proud of you. I hope you're having an awesome day. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you guys all on Wednesday, same time. Okay. Love you all so much. Take care. Bye.